Welcome to Sports News. Flying Eagles coach Manu Garba has revealed he has a clear idea of the 21 players he will take to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand later this month. Nigeria will submit a final 21-man squad on Friday, May 15th to the World Soccer Governing Body FIFA. Gang defender Wilfred Ndidi is expected to join up with the rest of the squad on Monday, while three other Europe-based stars, Isaac Success, Kelechi Iheanacho and Moses Simon, are still being awaited. The Flying Eagles have been training in Nuremberg, Germany for about a week now. They will play their first test match in Germany against Hoffenheim Under-23 team next Tuesday. Well, the Ivorian government has launched an investigation into unpaid bonuses which should have been given to the country's victorious 2015 Africa Nations Cup squad. Players and officials were promised a substantial financial reward worth $3 million by President Alassane Ouattara for winning the tournament in Equatorial Guinea in February. There has been a lengthy delay in the money reaching some squad members, prompting both coach Hervé Renard and midfielder Seré Dié to raise eyebrows. The government swooped into action by sacking the State Treasury manager Patrick Yapi. Danny Graham scored his first goal for Sunderland as the Black Cats claimed a crucial win in their fight against relegation from the Premier League. Tom Cleverley's third goal in successive games gave Aston Villa a huge push towards safety as they beat West Ham 1-0. Burnley, sadly, were relegated after one season despite a narrow 1-0 win at Hull. Riyad Mahrez hit an early brace as Leicester took another step towards safety with a 2-0 victory over Southampton. Nigerian striker Victor Anichebe scored his third of the season as West Brom escaped relegation after a 1-0 draw with Newcastle. Tottenham's hopes of a top-5 finish were dented as goals by Charlie Adam, Steven Nzonzi and Mami Biram Diouf earned Stoke a deserved 3-0 victory. Marouane Fellaini scored the second-half winner to put Man United to within a victory of qualifying for next season's Champions League. Petra Kvitova blended power and precision to crush Svetlana Kuznetsova 6-1, 6-2 in the Madrid Open final. Having ended Serena Williams' 27-match unbeaten run in the semis, the 25-year-old Czech was far too strong for a Russian opponent. Kuznetsova then took a medical timeout between sets and had no answer to Kvitova's ferocious hitting. Well, the world number 4 raced through the first set in less than half an hour. Kuznetsova returned for the second set with her left thigh heavily strapped and immediately dropped serve. Kvitova broke again for 3-love, and though her opponent held serve in Game 5 and 7, there was no way back. Rafa Nadal got back to his best on clay courts as he beat Thomas Berdych 7-6, 6-1 to reach the Madrid Masters final. The defending champion continued to look more like his old self as he crushed his Czech opponent in front of a delighted Spanish crowd in 1 hour 43 minutes. The home favourite is bidding for a third consecutive Madrid title, and he will face Andy Murray in the final on Sunday. The Scot produced an aggressive, focused display to dispatch Japanese Kei Nishikori in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4. Murray is aiming for back-to-back clay court titles after winning his first ATP crown on clay in Munich last week. And that's it on Sports News. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The rest of the news at 10 continues shortly.
Well, the troubles of former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak are far from over as he is being sentenced to 3 years in jail on corruption charges. This comes after a retrial of the case in the capital, Cairo. His sons were given 4 years each in the same case, which centers on the embezzlement of $14 million earmarked for renovation of presidential palaces. The original conviction was overturned on January the 13th over legal procedures. This was the last court case hanging over Mubarak, who was toppled in the 2011 uprising.
Former Former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak returns to court in Cairo, where his retrial on corruption charges lands him 3 years in prison without parole. A judge handed out Mubarak's sentencing on Saturday. He also gave Mubarak's 2 sons the same punishment. Mubarak was sentenced last May to 3 years on charges that he used public funds to upgrade military properties. But in January, Egypt's High Court overturned the conviction and sent it back to court. Meanwhile, it is believed that Mubarak may not have to serve any jail time for this latest sentencing, as he has already spent that time in prison in other cases. Mubarak, who ruled Egypt with an iron fist for 30 years, was toppled during the Arab Spring uprisings that swept the region in 2011.
Liberia is free from Ebola virus transmission, and that's according to the World Health Organization. In a statement on its website, the WHO noted that 42 days have passed since the last laboratory-confirmed case was buried on the 28th of March this year, which makes the outbreak of the Ebola virus disease in Liberia over. This interruption of transmission is a monumental achievement for a country that reported the highest number of deaths in the largest, longest, and most complex outbreak since Ebola first emerged in 1976. At the peak of transmission, which occurred during August and September 2014, Liberia was reporting from 300 to 400 new cases every week. The health agency said health officials in Liberia have maintained a high level of vigilance for new cases. During April, the country's 5 dedicated Ebola laboratories tested around 300 samples every week. All test results were negative. While the WHO is confident that Liberia has interrupted transmission, some Ebola cases still persist in neighboring Guinea and Sierra Leone. Well, as the whole of Europe continues to mark 70 years since the end of World War II, Russia has staged its biggest military parade to celebrate the anniversary. Thousands of troops marched on Red Square in Moscow, and a new armor was displayed for the first time. More than 20 heads of states attended the event, but many world leaders boycotted the event because of Russia's role in the Ukraine crisis.
Thousands of Russian troops march across Red Square even as tanks rumble through the streets and jets scream overhead in a huge military parade marking the 70th anniversary of victory over Nazi Germany.
Добровольно встали в их ряды на защиту Отечества.
Western leaders boycotted the parade over Russia's role in the Ukraine crisis, but President Vladimir Putin was joined under the Kremlin's walls by about 30 foreign leaders, including Chinese President Xi Jinping, sitting on his right-hand side. In a sign of closer ties between Russia and China, a column of Chinese troops took part in the events. War veterans watched from the grandstand, their chests bristling with medals, while crowds of people choked the side streets around the Kremlin, cheering and shouting as fighter jets roared over Moscow's city center. Putin has used the anniversary to whip up patriotism and fuel anti-Western sentiment, warning that fascism could be on the rise again and suggesting other countries are rewriting history to play down Moscow's role in winning the war. Many Russians regard the West's boycotting of the parade as disrespect. An estimated 27 million Soviet citizens were killed during the 1941-45 war. The guest list at the anniversary events in Russia, including major Asian allies, India and China, former Soviet republics and communist-era allies such as Cuba, has underlined Russia's role as an outcast in Europe. Also, the leaders of Egypt, South Africa and Zimbabwe were in attendance.
And the main news again. The Inspector General of Police has held his maiden meeting with officers in the Southwest Zone and insisted that they must adhere to the rule of law in carrying out their responsibilities. The fuel supply situation has gotten worse in parts of the country as residents of Lagos, Ogun and Ondo states have continued to lament prolonged scarcity of the product. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching.